Hi, I'm Shaley, and I'm here today to tell you that all dogs do not go to heaven. First thing I want you guys to think about is imagine a puppy or a dog and how cute and cuddly they are. What's the first thing you do when you see a dog? You go over and you start talking in that high-pitched voice and, oh, you're so cute. Oh. But what you don't know is the dogs have no idea what you're saying. They base everything off of repetition, tone of voice. They don't know what you're saying. You could be saying that they're ugly in that high-pitched tone. They don't care. They'll still wag their tail. I've had dogs my entire life. My current dog right now, Ellie, I just finished obedience class with her. And one of the things that they taught me was that dogs have a 6-second memory span. So if you don't get their attention in that first 6 seconds, they're off thinking about something else. So how can they really think about God if they're constantly thinking about other things every 6 seconds? Unless they're focused on something like squirrel running up a tree or something, then that's what catches their mind. But they're not off sitting wondering what heaven's like, who God is. They're thinking about food, squirrels, anything running by. All dogs do not go to heaven because they don't have the same conscience level as humans. Yes, they have brains and they can think about certain things, but that intellectual level is just not the same. They don't possess souls, and they simply just don't know what heaven is. There's been a lot of tests done on dogs, like brain scans and stuff. There's a neuroeconomic professor, Gregory Burns, who Jeremy also spoke about. He's done some tests, and he has compared the brain structure to both dogs and humans, and they both possess the caudate nucleus, which is obviously it's in the center of the brain, and even though it's the same part of the brain, it works totally different on dogs and humans. On humans, it's more about anticipating things like money, love, food. On dogs, it's more the repetition thing. So again, when you're teaching your dog to sit, and you just keep saying sit, 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 they hear that word, or whatever, it might not even be a word, but they hear that, and that's how they learn it, by repetition. They're not thinking about it, they're not anticipating sitting or coming or whatever. Another factor to consider is that dogs, their intellectual level is about the same as a 4-year-old child. So children that age don't really know what God is or how to kind of correspond with it. Julia from thinkingoutdog.com, she's the one who compares the intellectual levels from humans to dogs. And although we can't understand the consciousness of dogs and what they are thinking, we do know that they don't have the same level as humans. Dogs don't know what heaven is because they're not capable of language and can communicate the richness in spiritual experience. This is according to neurology professor Kevin Nelson, and we may never be able to know how dogs communicate by looking at their brain scans, but we can concur that dogs do not possess the same level as humans have. Professor Nelson also states that no human has ever seen heaven. Even if people claim to have seen the light or have gone down the tunnel, it's really just, obviously because their body is in that state of shutting down. They probably already lost consciousness, but they're losing blood pressure. So their body is just reacting to this traumatic incident. And their eyes, it actually is called rapid eye movement. So when they're saying they see the light, their eyes are just moving so quickly that it's creating like a brighter vision. And this may also like happen with, they think they're seeing the light, and then their brain starts working a little bit, and it might present a dream that they're going to heaven. So that's why some people say they've seen the light, gone to heaven, like that book Heaven is for Real. That child claims he's gone to heaven, but it really was just his body shutting down, having a dream, and he remembered that dream.
You said they're glad about that book too?
And my next point is that dogs do not possess souls. Dr. Victoria Gardner, a spiritual psychologist, states that dog brains are the closest to human brains, no matter out of any animal.
I thought it was an elephant.
No, it's not.
Excellent.
But even though their brain structure and thinking level is somewhat the same, they are still not as high up in that intellectual level as humans. David Hawkins, an expert in consciousness, does concur that some dogs may have a higher IQ than certain humans,
Oh.
which I can agree with, but it does not mean that dogs, and maybe even those certain humans, possess souls. Dogs simply cannot possess souls because of the evidence of how their brain works and shows that they do not have enough brain consciousness to even know what a soul is. In conclusion, dogs do not have the same level of conscience as humans to think about an afterlife because studies have shown that their brains do not work the same way as humans. Dogs do not possess souls because they do not possess that conscience like a human to even know what a soul is. And dogs do not know what heaven is because even though many humans have never been there and come back to tell about it, so how can dogs know? And if these scientific facts that I've provided you with today have not swayed you to believe that dogs do not go to heaven, I want you guys to think about this.
Uh-oh.
It's her dog.
Is there a dead dog in this?
There are other types of dogs, like devil dogs and hot dogs, that are a kind of dog, but they don't have brains. They can't think. They're inanimate objects, so they can't think about heaven. These dogs do not go to heaven.
We pass.
So all dogs
Yeah.
technically do not go to heaven.
I have a counterpoint to
She brought out hot dogs and devil
Dogs do not go to heaven. Now that you put it that way.
She brought out devil
We have to say
dogs.
about that.
I don't know. I think she just kicked your ass.